What's good, Sooner Nation? It's time to celebrate because ESPN just recently did something that got Sooner fans excited. Something that we've been asking for years. And I mean years. But only the ESPN and the SEC could give us that the Big 12 refused to, which is why we're, of course, is super excited to be leaving said old conference July 1st and starting a new era of Sooner civilization in the SEC. So we got to dive into it because the SEC just recently announced the times for, or time windows for games start for next season. So now you can start planning out your tailgates. You can start planning out what games you want to travel to and get all that stuff together. So let's dive into the schedule. Let's dive into these times. And let me tell you why Oklahoma fans are so excited, why Oklahoma fans are celebrating, because man, it's been a while since this has gone down. Before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. All right, let's take a look at the SEC kickoff times for Oklahoma going into next season. And let's just jump for joy, all right? So, of course, standard schedule. We've got this great one. Now, I know some Sooner fans kind of lost their minds on me about the SEC, quote-unquote, screwing us because of the Temple game starting the season off at 6 p.m. on a Friday night. But, it's kind of a rite of passage. Gives us the opportunity to be the primetime game for the premier conference. And we're really the game that everybody's going to care about that night, which, it's Friday night. So we get to have literally the window to ourselves. So we go out there, we cook Temple, we put the entire conference and college football on notice. So I ain't tripping about that. I like the Friday night, especially because it's hot in Oklahoma in August. It's hot in Oklahoma in September. And the good thing is, 6 p.m. right at halftime, things going to start really cooling down. Thank goodness. So, but they announced the rest of the windows. And as y'all can see here, I put this up here fully for you all to check out. We have great windows. And the one thing that we have that y'all have been asking for is, yes, less games at 11 a.m. You got that. Right now, not going to bury the lead. We're going to dive right into that portion of it, which is we got two games right now that's slated for potentially 11 a.m. Now, all of these are Central Time. This is from OU's press release yesterday morning. And now I'm back in town. I was able to put this video together. We've got two games, South Carolina and the Ole Miss game. So one home game potentially will be at 11, maybe 12. And then one road game at 11, or maybe 12. Who ain't losing their mind now? Sooner fans, y'all have been asking for this from the Big 12 for years, right? The last time we had a season of, 2 games at 11 o'clock was in 2017. Since then, we've had 12 o'clock games, 11 o'clock games, 11 a.m. Central games. We had 5 in 2018, 6 in 2019. We had 6 in 2021, 6 in 2022, 7 in 2023. And I say 4 at 2020. I didn't really count that one because that was all Big 12 schedule, but we had 4 even that season. Shout out to Sooner Tracker for that one. That's the early kickoffs we had. That's since 2017, we always had 5 to 6. Big 12 just hating on Sooner fans, right? Well, ESPN and the SEC loves us. They're giving us more prime spots. So you'll have the Tennessee game will be between either the afternoon window. And let me explain real quick what these numbers look like here. So you see here, you have like 2:30 or 3:30 or 5 or 7. That means that's flex spots. As in, the SEC plans on flexing that game to a premier time or nighttime based upon how big the game is. So, if anything, all your planning is already done for the rest of the season, right? Even though there's a window there, that just tells you you're not have to get up early in the morning, period. You can still come in no matter what. If you want to come in the morning before, you still can because that's going to be how the time's going to work no matter what, right? The flex games are Tennessee, Missouri, Alabama, LSU. Those are your 4 flex games. LSU's probably going to be a night game because it's going to be in Death Valley. It'll be the last game of the season. And if LSU and Oklahoma show up like they're supposed to, there's very much college football playoff and SEC championship implications. They both just got to show up this season, right? Alabama's definitely going to be potentially a night game premiere, depending on how DeBoer does, as well as Oklahoma in his first season. He's got a lot of hype around him. He lives up to said hype. Boom. There you go. You got another one, right? Then you got the Missouri game, which is just whatever y'all want to call it. I just think it's just going to Missouri. I mean, they ain't nobody to me. And so, but that one's flex because they potentially see that one as a big game because of the way both schedules play out. And so, and then the Tennessee, which is the first SEC game for us. We walk in there undefeated. Tennessee walks in undefeated, which they better walk in undefeated. Boom. You've got yourself some big games. So when I saw that, I mean, my first thing is, of course, I'm making this Ole Miss game. I'm going to figure that out now. Ole Miss is happening. I think Auburn's going to happen too. I'm still in. LSU's happening. I already said LSU's going to happen. So I want to hear from y'all. Hop in these comments. Let your boy know which game you guys plan on hitting up. Definitely want to know which ones you're going to map your entire fall after. Because, yeah, that's huge to me that we've got 4 games that are in the flex position because that means that you get to see Sooners on the big screen. You get to see it on the ABCs or the ESPN. And typically that's the reason why you see the TBAs is because the channel it's going to go on is depending on which window. If they're in the big afternoon slot, it's most likely a ABC or ESPN spot. But the beauty of it is that we got our hands on premier times. Bro, we only got 2. And the good thing is there's a chance that neither one of these games end up at 11 o'clock. They could end up at the noon slot, which I know all of you would love even more. I would rather be at these games at 12 o'clock. Right? Get opportunity to sleep in a little bit more, get you a little bit more rest. You know, depending on how you party in each town. You know, you party at home, preparing for South Carolina and welcoming Shane Beamer back home, or you lose your mind out there in Oxford, which I've already started to plan that out. For side note, for anybody that's living in Oklahoma, American Airlines sent me an email about booking flights to college football games using your points starting this month. So it means you got to probably buy points if you ain't got any miles or whatnot, by the miles. But there's direct flights to a lot of these cities now for football season. So, hey, I'm about to start mapping. I'm mapping that out this week, right? Getting my flights together, deciding where I'm going. Yeah, gonna happen. So, but, you got your Oxford, you got your Texas. I mean, Texas, of course, we all knew that was going to be the prime game. We saw that, a couple weeks ago, that was announced that we're going to get last week, we're going to get the 2:30 slot for that. So we get the prime SEC spot for that game. Y'all have been wanting a later game. Now y'all get to cook in the afternoon in that Texas heat. It's all right. Ain't nothing too big of a deal. But I love the fact that we have 4 flex games, so they care about us. The night game to start the season off, which is awesome. It's, those are just good spots to be in because, truth be told, it's hot in Oklahoma, and those games will cool down by halftime, and you'll be able to really enjoy it, especially if the game is just rocking. That afternoon Tulane game is going to be a monster, but we maybe get some cool air in there. I don't know. But that Tennessee game, man, being a flex spot, we both come in undefeated, which we expect to. I think most of the SEC should be undefeated going into this one, right? The only ones really with some big challenges is going to be Alabama and Tennessee and Texas, in my opinion. With Texas playing Michigan, Alabama playing Wisconsin. And you may think that ain't a challenge, but that Luke Fickell's doing something up there with Wisconsin. So that's what the schedule's going to look like. Hop in those comments. Let me know your thoughts. How y'all feeling about Oklahoma getting some premier times, not being overlooked by the SEC or the ESPNs of the world, and showing us mad love. You made it this far, like the content, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Love for y'all to join this family, college football fans, talking OU football, SEC, and college football in general, and having a blast doing it. Videos going to be ramping up now, man. We are in OV season. We'll be talking more lists because lists are coming down. We're expecting commitments this month. This is the big month of commitments. So we'll start breaking down more positions again post spring. We'll talk through a lot of more. We just have more content coming down the line. Check out the recruiting channel, which is up here on the screen now. Sooner or Later Sports. Got some recruiting videos going up to talk about some of the players that have pulled up and thoughts on crystal balls. So Talk later. Peace.